All right, welcome to the fourth video in the IPS Mastermind video series we're doing on file prep for quality printing. This is the last video, and on this video we are going to be talking about comparing your print to your screen. The first three videos taught you how to prep your file and get it to your lab. This video is about after you get your prints back from your lab and you want to compare it to your edit and how you set everything up in a computer. How do you do that properly? Because there's a correct way to do it and then there's an incorrect way to do it. The first thing I need to start off with saying is that it's virtually impossible to get a physical print perfectly 100% without a doubt nailed to your monitor. You're dealing with two different objects. One is literally a light source. It's emanating light. Light is coming out of it. It is glowing. And then the other object, the print, is a reflective surface. It does not emit any amount of light whatsoever. It is not a light source. And it is entirely subjected to the light that falls onto it and reflects off of it into your eyeball. So the environment you're in, the type of lighting you're in when you're viewing a physical print changes, where a screen is affected by your environment, but not as much as a print. I mean, the very basic example of that would be take a print into a dark closet, turn the lights off, you're not going to be able to see it. Take your laptop into a dark closet, turn the lights off, and you can still see your screen because it is a light source. So matching a physical thing that does not generate light to a thing that does generate light and essentially is backlit, your reds and things, you can get them close, which is what we're trying to do, but a red that is backlit, even though it might be printed the same red, is not going to be 100%, exactly perfect on a source that is not backlit and has light that has to hit it and then bounce back into your eyeball for your brain to process it. Okay, so with that said, there are things you can do to give you a true comparison, a better comparison, an accurate comparison. And there's a lot of mistakes that are being made out there. I'm a part of a lot of photography groups, and I see a lot of people literally taking a print, holding it to their screen, and they take a cell phone and they take a picture, and that's probably about the worst thing you could ever do for really pretty much almost any lab or print comparison, and we will get into that in this video of why that is a bad way to share what print you got back versus your screen. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to start off by showing you an experiment I did. So I took a white piece of paper and I took a print. And so I took a white piece of paper, and what I'm going to show you first is we're comparing the white piece of paper to just a white document in Photoshop. So I just created a new document, I just set it to white, and then I just took a white piece of printer paper and set it next to my screen to see if we could get the white of the paper to match the whiteness of our screen. And then I took a photo of it with, I have a Fuji X-T1 camera, so I took a photo of it and two different light bulbs to show you the difference. Okay, so I'm going to go into Photoshop and we're going to look at all these right now. So here's the first one. So this is what I did. So left you got the Photoshop, you got the white file. The right you have just the white piece of paper. The light source is a regular incandescent light bulb just screwed into a floor lamp, and the floor lamp allows me, what it did is allowed me to direct it at the piece of paper. And so I brought it up kind of towards the front and kind of up to the upper right and kind of pointed it down at about a 45-degree angle to hit the surface of the paper. And so right away you can see that that warmth of that incandescent, just regular household light bulb is extremely yellow, and my computer looks really, really blue compared to this. And this is just trying to get the white of my screen to match a white piece of paper. There's been no printing on the paper, nothing. It's just literally subjected to the light that's in the room. So if you get a print back from a lab, and it's especially at nighttime, and you bust open your computer and you have all these incandescent light bulbs in your house, and you start comparing your print to your screen, your print is always going to look too warm, probably too yellow, and it's going to look off. It just is, because it's getting yellow light from the room, falling on it, bouncing off back into your eye, and the screen is just emitting its own light source, so it can kind of battle against some of that yellow light that's in the room and give you a little bit of a pure white. So you don't want to just have your main light source being these incandescent light bulbs that you find, especially the really yellow ones. So just make sure you're aware of the light bulbs of when you're viewing your print and how that affects you. So what I did for the next experiment is I took the exact same piece of paper, the exact same file on Photoshop, and all I did is I changed the light bulb in this one lamp. Okay. And here's the comparison. This light bulb is an LED daylight light bulb. So normally people don't put these in their house because when you put them in, it makes the room and everything look too cool, kind of uninviting, sterile, almost like a hospital or something like that. Usually you want those nice yellow, warm, incandescent bulbs that give you kind of that homey feeling and makes it feel like candlelight, and it's all nice and warm in there. This is a daylight balance LED bulb, and you can tell immediately that the paper looks more white, it looks more accurate, and it looks a lot closer to the screen. Now, if you really were going to be nitpicky, that paper on the right is not a true white that you see on the screen, even though it's a white piece of paper. So what that's called is like a white balance or a white point mismatch. So you have to realize that the whites that your computer are going to generate versus the whites that you get with a piece of paper that is made with like wood or cotton or something like that is just going to be a little bit different, and they're not going to match 100% correctly. So, but you can get them close. All right. So I just wanted to show that with the whites, so you can look at white versus white, and you can try to find the difference there. All right. So what next I did is I wanted to show you print. So this is the file that we've been working on throughout all the videos, and so you can see the differences that are in these videos. Okay, so here's the photos we're working on, and this is the same exact setup that I just showed you with the white background, the white paper and the white Photoshop file. So I made a print on the right of the file that's on the left in Photoshop. So again, this photo on the right has a regular household incandescent light bulb in a lamp pointed at it versus the screen. And so the screen looks really blue and the print looks really yellow, and neither one looks correct. So if I just took this, basically just took this photo and posted it on a Facebook forum, it's going to make the lab look really bad. Like, wow, your print's really off. When that's not really the case. And I see a lot of these photos and these situations on Facebook where they're taking a photo, they hold it up next to Photoshop, and they take a picture. The other thing bad about holding a print right next to and partially in front of your computer screen is it's going to make your print look even darker. I mean, if you just think about light and how a camera is going to adjust to it, when you backlight like a piece of paper, especially a print, the light cannot get all the way through that piece of paper, but the screen is going to be bright, and so the print is going to look darker, and you're taking a picture of it in probably a house that has incandescent light bulbs in it, so it's gonna obviously look dark and yellow, but that's not really what the print looks like. It looks way worse when you do this, and it kind of it makes the lab look bad. So be very careful about taking these type of photos and sharing them in groups, because you're doing kind of damage to all the great labs that are out there that work really, really hard for you to make great prints. And just snapping things like this, it kind of damages a reputation. It damages their reputation when you really haven't set the situation up properly to really show a true comparison. So that's really why I'm walking you through this. So the next time you do it, you can get a good feel of how to do it if you want to take a picture, how to do it the right way. So this is obviously the wrong way to do it with a incandescent light bulb and your screen. The other thing I want to mention with this setup is your screen brightness, because you want to try to match your screen brightness to the brightness of the light that is falling onto the print. Does that make sense? So if you have a lot of light falling on the print, you can probably brighten your screen up so that it's emitting roughly the same amount of light that it's reflecting off of your print. What you don't want is your screen to be really bright and then your print to be in a low light situation, so there's not much light reflecting off of it. Or the opposite, you don't want your screen to be really dark, which I'm going to show you in the next one, and the light falling on it to be really, really bright on the print, because then the print is going to look brighter than the screen, and then you can't get an accurate comparison that way. So there's a lot of factors going on here. So I took the same setup here, and I just changed the light bulb again like in the first one. So I'm going from a regular household incandescent light bulb to an LED daylight light bulb. And on this one, what I did is I had the screen turned down just a little bit. And this shows you if the desk lamp or the light in the room is too bright and your monitor brightness is down too low, then you have another mismatch. But you can see the color's a lot closer. It's a lot more accurate. Exact same print, just the light bulb changed. And that's it. So taking a photo in this situation, it's a bit better of representation, even though my monitor brightness isn't where it should be. So what I've done here at the end is I've actually gave you a third lighting situation that I'm going to show you that I didn't do with a white piece of paper. And this is ideally the best situation to photograph a print and your screen. It's also the best situation for viewing a print and comparing it to your screen. It's even better than the daylight LED light bulb thing, because the LED daylight bulb is still not a great true daylight color temperature. So what you do is what I did here, and what you can do is I actually turned all the lights off in the room, and I opened all the windows. And you can see on this one, I angled the print towards the window. There's a window to the left of this. And so I angled the print to the left, and then I turned on soft proofing in Photoshop so that it's set to the print profile. And I adjusted the brightness of my monitor to match the brightness that is reflecting off of the print as close as I could. What you notice, I did not put the print in front of the screen. I set it to the side, so that the light from the screen isn't going to be backlighting it and making the front of the print look darker. So this way you can what you do is actually look kind of in between the screen and the print, kind of almost towards the wall, and you would kind of compare the images kind of with your peripheral vision, and that will give you the most kind of accurate view of how close to the prints or not. You can see with photographing it, it also looks a lot better. And this is the same print in all three examples. So this print is the same print that was in this one. It's just the lighting's different, and how I set it up is totally different. So one, if you're going to compare your print to your screen, do it with, if you can't do it during the day, shades open, in a bright room. If it's cloudy, it's actually perfect. If it's a really sunny and you have a lot of light coming in, maybe angle the shades or something so you don't have direct light hitting the print, but you want it kind of an open shade feel. Soft proof, turn your either Photoshop or Lightroom soft proof with the printer profile that you printed with, and adjust your screen brightness so that it matches the ambient light that's reflecting off of the print back to you, and then you'll get a really true sense of how accurate it is. The last thing you need to consider is paper and ink can get you close, but there's always going to have some sort of limitation to replicating exactly what you see on your screen. So you just want to have a little bit of grace with it. If you really want to nitpick it, you can always find a difference. Even if you say like your prints are like, my prints are spot on, perfect every time, you can get a loop, you can get a little magnifying thing, and you can really start breaking it down. If you look at like every square inch of the print versus every square inch of your screen, you're going to start noticing some differences. So what you just want it to do is be as close as your screen as it possibly can be, and you really just want the print to be a beautiful print on its own. You're never going to have a client that's going to hold the print and ask it to see next to your screen. Obviously, you want it as close as you can get from what you edit to have it in your hands, but just know that this is a physical thing you're holding. It's not a digital thing. And so when you're editing on a digital device that's emitting light and you're printing a thing that's a physical object, you're just going to get it close, but it's never going to be 100% exact. Also, when you share these things online, do something similar to this before you take a photograph of it, like set it up properly and then take a photograph of it, so that you will get the best feedback possible from the group that you're posting this in. And you're also you're not really throwing the lab under the bus unintentionally because you set up a bad lighting situation or didn't take the time to set up a good lighting situation for the print to screen comparison. So I hope that's really, really helpful, and that takes some of the mystery away from it, and that the next time you get prints, you'll be able to look at them more accurately compared to your screen. I've also, in the PDF, I've put a bunch of links to some resources to get, like if you want print viewing light bulbs or a print viewing device that's designed for print viewing, and some other links to how to view a print properly compared to your screen. I've provided all that in the PDF, so make sure to read that because it's going to be extremely helpful and will give you more accurate critical eye on how to compare your print to your screen, and it'll give you some physical resources, light bulbs and things that will also set you up, because you don't want to be using those yellow incandescent light bulbs that you just get from anywhere, like at Publix or Kroger or any grocery store that you're shopping at, or Home Depot or Lowe's or anything like that. So set it up properly, and you'll be amazed that the print is actually probably closer to your screen than what you think it is. And just make sure you're sharing those properly in the Facebook groups. All right, I hope you got a lot out of the series. It was great. And if you have any questions or want to know more about MUSEA, feel free to reach out at musealab.com. You can email us at lab@mymusea.com. And we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.